Yeah, these are stock springs, but it's already lower, just sitting up like that. So when it drops, if it could tuck a little bit, that'd be awesome. But if it doesn't, that's not bad either.
No, it's gonna go lower.
Ooh,
what do you mean stocking the fronts? How are you gonna turn? It's gonna go lower.
You can still turn. A bunch of camber. I've maxed out the camber on this right now, so I might have to get camber plates.
Apparently, what, 2 degrees?
No, because on the black car when I did that full, I think I was like.
This is not a way I thought I would be putting an end link on the car. Okay.
Put them not on.
12 seconds later.
So I was actually working on the wagon. I got one side of the suspension on. I was going to record for you guys, but it's, as you can see, raining really bad. So yesterday I installed the suspension on the E46. It's the new max speeding T6 coilovers, I believe they're called. It's basically the new black and blue ones, the nicer quality ones. And as you can see on this side, I haven't done it because it started pouring. But check out how good it looks here. It looks phenomenal, like sheesh. So the front may even use a spacer, to be honest. I mean, it already pokes, but the rear is way overboard. So right now I'm actually going to get underneath and try to get some camber out of it just to see how it's going to look. But overall, like, I'm extremely happy with how the wagon looks like right now. It looks so sick. Plus, if I actually stand back here, let's see. Oh, you can't really see it. Let me see. Yeah, the right side is really wide and the left side is not. But I'm test fitting the wheels now because I need to make sure they fit, because if they do not fit, I have to get a smaller tire 100%. So that's where we're at right now. I can't really mold the rears or the fronts until I make sure that it doesn't rub anywhere. Now the fronts at full lock actually sit on the frame, like inner lock. Outer lock is fine, but when I turn all the way to the left, it sits on the frame and like pushes the car up. So I might actually need smaller tires. Like, the front looks perfect, the rear looks good as well. Just need that camber right now to see how it's actually going to look. But kind of upset because I really wanted this thing to fit perfectly, but it is what it is. I guess we're just gonna get smaller tires, mess around with it. But overall, like, dang, the fronts really look awesome. Like, the fitment is just perfect on it. I'm really happy with the fronts. So I guess I can get started by talking about the coilovers that I'm installing. As you can see, these are the max speeding T6 coilovers. These are the new ones that they make. These are much better quality than the other ones that I had. They're also a little bit more pricier, but the biggest difference is the ball joint up top is now metal instead of being, I think it was rubber or plastic. But overall, it's got better weight to it, and just the material itself is definitely better. These are the springs, but unfortunately they're a little bit too soft for me because I need to drive this car a little lower and with more camber. As you can see, it pokes out a lot. And I tested it with those springs. It looked good, but driving wise, there's something a little bit stiffer, which is these Swift springs that I have right here that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. So we're putting these shocks on with the Swift springs. Jesus, it's so loud. Front is actually full stock. I'm gonna actually keep those stock springs from Max Speeding because they are great. They don't seem to compress any further than they need to. I'm really happy with the fronts, but the rear does look off. It looks like the wheel is pointing way too much forward, actually, just like that car. A lot of people have been asking me if that's normal, and I said my toe is off. And I've been messing around with the toe in this car. I maxed it out and it's still a little crooked, so I need to get toe plates so I can camber it out, and with these coilovers get the desired ride height that I want. So the fronts I'm happy with, but the rears could use a little bit more low and more camber. But what sucks is, like, the front has a little bit of camber and it looks perfect. I'm really happy with that, while the rear already has good enough camber, but if I get more, it doesn't match the front and it looks kind of stupid in my opinion. Plus I raised the rears right now just because it's really sitting on the fender. If I apply some weight to it, like if I start jumping inside the door sill right there, it kind of like bottoms out on the door, on the flare. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we ordered new tires. They're supposed to, I was hoping, arrive by tomorrow, which is Saturday. because it's that 2-day shipping I paid for, but apparently it's coming in 5 days. So how is it that I paid 2-day shipping but getting him in 5 days? I don't understand, but it is what it is, I guess. So we're gonna wait until we get the tires on to really dial in the fitment. But I am installing these 100%. I like them. I put them over there in the rear, and the shocks are great. I did pair them with the 20K springs, as I mentioned. I believe theirs are 8 or 9K. So they're good for daily driving and like a little bit more, because you can adjust these. Come on, focus, please. Yeah, so you can adjust these right there to have either really soft or really stiff. I haven't tested it out yet because, as you can see, the car's not really moving. But I'm hoping with the new tires we can tuck a little bit more and actually take this thing out for a spin and give you a review of how these shocks are. Because the fronts are going to stay stuck, as I mentioned. The rears are just going to be a little bit stiffer, because unlike the fronts that poke out a tiny bit, the rears poke out a lot. Plus, the design of this body kit, as you can see, it kind of forms into the body, so there's more tire in the front, and that's why I need camber, so it kind of evens it out a little bit. But overall, like, I really want to run these wheels. They look amazing on this car. I don't think there's a single wheel that looks better than these right now. Just kind of wish the fitment was a little better on them, like the offset. But since this is a wagon, I'm not like surprised, because this body kit's not made for this car. These wheels are not made for this car. These wheels are made for the GTR body kit and the Pendum. So I'm not surprised that they're not fitting, because the body kit is completely off. But we're making it one of a kind. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it sick. Still a bunch of stuff to do with the bumper, as you can see, like fixing it up. But today we're installing coilovers, so let's do that. Well, I actually want to apologize because I thought it was recording, but I wasn't. Well, the suspension is on. The front, the rear, both sides finally are on. We are having a little bit of an issue of even the 20K springs are not strong enough for what I need them to be. But I think once I get the new tires put on, everything's going to be good. But I just love this meaty fitment in the rear. It looks so good, and it's going to suck when we have to take it off for a smaller tire. But I guess we have to sacrifice it so we can actually drive the car, because right now it's sitting at the right height. That was good initially, but now that every side is on, it's touching the tire, basically. The fender's touching the tire. So with a smaller tire, these are 255/40, and I got 245/35. Pretty sure I mentioned it a couple times now. So what that's going to do is actually bring this tire in and drop it almost by an inch, which is what we need. And we can technically go a little bit lower, but if you look from like right here, just look how wide this thing looks. My gosh, this thing is looking so sick. But also notice how high it sits, and that's due to technically the tires. The sidewall is so big that it's just lifting the rear end up. So big sad after I was messing with the wheels, and it's set. Now this body kit is technically moving, as you can see. So that is a no good. What we're gonna have to do is re-rivet everything. That really sucks, because it was nice and solid. That side's still solid. It didn't bottom out, but this, I guess, when it compressed and it cracked it a little bit, kind of pulled the rivets out. Like right here, it's nice and solid. It's just right here where it was pushing. So it is what it is, whatever. But damn, just look at these beauties. Really excited to get this thing done. Well, this is a very exciting moment for me. As you can see, the car is no longer in my driveway. We're driving with the wheels on. It is rubbing still, even after raising it quite a bit, putting 20K springs in the rear. As you can see, the wheel is very close to the front. Now I adjusted toe completely out, but when you camber it, the toe goes back in. So you can't really see, but it is slightly in. If it could just be a little straighter, maybe it wouldn't touch it. I did order new tires. We tried putting them on, and I think I ordered too small of a tire, so I'm going to try to get the same one, 255/35 now, because I got 245/35 and they did not fit. They needed literally like a little bit just to fit. So I tried doing 255/35s with these same ones, the Stratas XL. If we can get away with it and actually do it, that's going to be awesome, because then it will clear, it won't rub, and I'll be very happy and I can start molding the kit. But since it's rubbing quite a bit, we're not molding it just yet. But we did take it out for a spin and this thing looks insane. I am extremely happy with it. Oof. I wasn't a fan of the big camber in the rear, but it kind of works. It kind of works with the front. So I'm not that mad about it, but dang, this thing is looking so good. I'm so happy with it. Now check them both side by side. Dang, they look amazing. The wagon definitely pops out more. I feel like it's also looks wider, but it could also be because of the stance in the wagon is much better. But dang, like the wagon is perfect. Oh, I love that. I love that. I need the same fitment on the yellow car, 100%. So either bigger spacers and drop it a little bit more. So freaking sick. I love it. Holy crap. Dang, just look at that. The coupe and then the wagon. So these look so insane, but like I said, the wagon looks wider because the roofline is a little bit more narrow. And as you can see on the coupe, it kind of doesn't look, I mean it's still wide, but it doesn't look as wide as the wagon. And I guess it also helps that the wagon's tires poke out, which I wanted. I actually wanted it to poke out a little bit more, so I might add the spacers. But sheesh, this thing is looking so good. Like the camera cannot pick it up. Just in person, this thing is so unreal. Dang, I am so in love with this car. Oof. Just the fitment is so good, and then you step over here and it's like barely there. But dang. Oof. And it's properly low. I love it. The 45K springs are on. The new tire size is on. And look how much clearance we have now. I'm extremely happy with this. Now, I'm actually going to remove the perch because I put it in there to raise the car up. I wasn't sure if it's going to rub, but look how much clearance we have. We can definitely go lower. The springs are much stiffer, so it's not going to rub. Definitely happy. The rear tires and the front tires look almost identical. Definitely really happy with that, because now I can actually drive the car and it's not going to rub. Actually, it still rubs in the front. I have to put the 20K springs in the front. Probably going to do that another day, since it's going to start raining in like another hour or two. But I'm so happy this car is ready to be molded. Now it's not going to rub over there. So I'm definitely going to start molding it probably come Monday. So super excited. It looks awesome. The fitment is not great. As I mentioned, I got to drop it a little bit, but from this angle, it is perfect now. Oof. Might actually adjust the camber a little bit and make it just a tiny bit straighter, just a tiny bit. But overall, super happy with how that thing looks. Dang, that is perfect. So we're finally driving the car with the wheels on, no rubbing. The car feels incredible. This suspension is straight up amazing. I love it. It's not stiff at all. It feels great. I am running the max speeding T6 coilovers, the new ones that they have, with 45K 326 springs in the back and the stock max speeding springs in the front. I was going to put the 20Ks in the front, but the stock ones are actually really good and I have no rubbing issues right now, so I'm going to keep it as is. I'm super happy. This car is looking so good. The only thing I'm not really happy about is the drop in the rear, and that's because I got a 5.5-inch spring. I should have gotten like a 4 and it would have tucked better, because as you guys know, we actually got new tires for the car, so it's clearing so much better. Like as you can see now, there's so much more room around here. Before it was touching, so now it's not touching, it's not rubbing. So the only thing I really need is to probably get like a 4.5-inch spring or 4-inch spring, drop it about an inch up to here. That's exactly where I want it, like 1 finger gap, because there's absolutely no flex. It feels great. I'm really happy with the ride quality, but I'm definitely going to order 4-inch springs or 4.5 in the rear. I'm going to measure it, see how much I really need to, because now it has 5, so I think if I drop about an inch, that should be perfect. But damn, I'm so happy now I can actually. The more I drive this thing, the more I love it. Like, I'm going over speed bumps and this thing is just eating it, but the wheel gap is really just killing it for me. But I think if I do 4-inch springs, because I still have the perches, so if the 4-inch is too low, I can put the perch in and raise it back up a little bit. But damn, this thing legit rides like a dream. Definitely wish it was lower. I just went off the old springs that I had, the 20Ks. I got a 5.5 because it looked good with the 5.5, but then again we had the old tires on, and now we have new tires on, and there's a really big gap. I don't really mind it that much, to be honest, because this side is like 2 inches, and then this side is like 3. Yeah, a little bit more, but dang. But overall, this rear end is looking so good. Can't even imagine how people see this car from the back. Just look at that fitment. Dang, that looks so good. Oof. Love it. Definitely want to go lower because we're static. We're not doing bags. It's too expensive. It would be nice to have bags, but too expensive right now. So we're gonna wait. Maybe one day we'll get bags, but for now, I'm super happy with how the car rides. These tires are great. It's not super bouncy. It actually absorbs the bumps really well. But these wheels are dirty. I need to clean them.